Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live and direct, broadcasting from somewhere between the tropics of Cancer and the tropics of Capricorn at an undisclosed location. Today we will be reading about the Jesuits. So if anyone out there has some information, insight, views, and understanding, you are more than welcome to chime in, as long as it is respectful and you come in peace. So let's begin.
Let me tell you, if you are not a conspiracy theorist by...
You are not intelligent.
Let me tell you, if you are not a conspiracy theorist by now, it's because...
You are not intelligent.
They wasn't ready for this back then. They probably not ready for it now. Those that sleep forever gonna be sleep. Those that woke, woke.
Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
Wait, what?
De Tupac Amaru.
Tupac.
Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
That's lit.
De Tupac Amaru.
Gang. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun.
Reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
That's hot.
De Tupac Amaru.
That's hard.
Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
Too real.
De Tupac Amaru.
Too raw. I know you've been patiently waiting, miseducated, anxiously aching for a blue out to say it, but I'ma do you a favor. Unlearn what you've learned. The roof is on fire, let that motherfucker burn. Babylon's on fire. The devil's a liar. They know that they time's up. So rise up and rise up.
Soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
That's fire.
De Tupac Amaru.
More fire.
Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
That's lit.
De Tupac Amaru.
Gang. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind? They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind?
Soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru.
Hold up.
De Tupac Amaru.
Wait, what?
Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru. De Tupac Amaru.
Okay.
Is there a crisis in the United States when it comes to mental health issues? Absolutely.
This is just a test. Microphone. Hello. Please listen to my demo. This whole world is a ghetto.
Or is this world a mental hospital?
hospital? Or is this world a mental hospital? Insane asylum, crazy house, loony bin. Or is it a prison? This world's a mental hospital. Or is it a plantation? This world's a mental hospital. Or is it a farm? This world's a mental hospital. Or is it a program?
Let me tell you something.
The first law, it's all mental. Prepare for the winter. For survival. And these rifles, we ain't gonna speak about. If you knew better, then you do better. That there just ain't slick. That there just ain't slick. It's the frequency and the energy. That's just how we rock. I spit this game, crystal clear. Social distance, don't come near. I've been at this social distancing even before I was a teen. Even before it became a thing. We just called it sucker free. My folks just called it sucker free. The streets just called it sucker free. This is just a test. This is just a what? Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Hello, hello, hello. This is just a test. This is just a who? Microphone check 1 2. Microphone check 1 2. Hello, hello, hello. This is just a test. 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 Please listen to my demo. Demo. This whole world is a ghetto. Or is this world a mental hospital?
I'm your host here in Insane Asylum World.
A mental hospital. Or is it a prison?
The whole world's crazy.
A mental hospital. Or is it a plantation?
All of us are
A
nuts.
mental hospital. Or is it a farm?
The whole world's crazy.
A mental hospital. Or is it a program?
All of us are nuts.
A mental hospital. Or is it a school?
The whole world's crazy.
A mental hospital. Or is it a battlefield?
All of us are nuts.
A mental hospital. Or is it a hell?
The whole world's crazy.
The only thing that's gonna get you.
Yeah, this whole world is crazy. Some people say it's a mental hospital. Some people say it's an insane asylum. Some people say it's a prison. Some say it's a farm. Some say it's a computer program. And the list goes on and on. On and on. But we are here today. I'm so pleased that you are here today. We will be discussing, reading, and just delving into the topic of the Jesuits. Some people know who they are. Many people don't. Some people know who they are, but don't know, maybe all the things that we should know. So we are going to delve into the topic, and first let's look at the Jesuits. We're going to read a little bit about our friends, the Jesuits. And we're also going to, this is their Jesuits.org, protecting children, young people, and vulnerable adults. It says the Jesuits, all right. Let me see. One second. We will get it together. Here we are. And let's look at, this is the page, the Jesuits.org. And like I was saying earlier, it says, oh, my bad. Okay, we're back. So it says protectingjesuits.org. We will be delving into things, but remember, this is just an introductory topic. So, we will be going deeper and deeper as time goes along, as long as God permits us the time. And hope you guys have the willingness. This is a very important topic. It is the Jesuits. Protecting children, young people, and vulnerable adults. Okay. And it says, we are the Society of Jesus, a Roman Catholic order of priests and brothers founded half a millennium ago by the soldier turned mystic Ignatius Loyola. But most people call us the Jesuits. Okay, hello there. In the vision of our founder, we seek to find God in all things. We dedicate ourselves to the greater glory of God and the good of all humanity. And we do so gratefully in collaboration with others who share our values, including laypersons. They have become part of that we, the extended Jesuit family. With 16,000 plus priests, brothers, scholastics, and novices worldwide, we are the largest male religious order in the Catholic Church. We are pastors, teachers, and chaplains. We are also doctors, lawyers, and astronomers, among many other roles in church and society. In our varied ministries, we care for the whole person, body, mind, and soul, and especially in our education ministries, we seek to nurture men and women for others. Jesuits draw on the rich traditions of Ignatian spirituality and reflection. Ignatian spirituality and reflection. In our retreat centers, parishes, campus ministries, and other settings, we offer these resources to all who want to discern God's presence in their lives. At the same time, we also aim to be contemplatives in action, people who bring this spirituality into the wide world. That includes our work on behalf of global justice, peace, and dialogue. Well, there's a lot here that you know we will break down later on. I mean, there's things that we could break down. Words are power. We shouldn't just be reading this, just blah 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 blah. There's things in here that, you know, but since it's an introductory, we're just gonna go through things and see what flows, see what comes about, see what we like. This is very important here. 4 vows. As members of a religious order, Jesuits take 3 vows of poverty. Well, that's interesting. Chastity. Well, that's interesting. And obedience. Okay. And a 4th vow of obedience, specifically in regard to worldwide mission. Very important. In other words, Jesuits must be ready to accept whatever mission the Pope requires. A vow that is reflective of our broader dedication to the universal church and to the greater good of all people from all faiths and cultures. Our collaboration with the laity flows from our personal relationships with Christ. We see ourselves as companions of Jesus, and we invite others to join with us as friends in the Lord. Together, we build up the body of Christ. With our friends and partners, we also reach out to a broadly diverse world because that's where God is. From experience and reflection, we know that meaning, value, and divine purpose can be discovered in all things. So if anyone interested, you can sign up here for their newsletter. This is Jesuits. And you got more information that we can delve into. We can, take our time with it. Our work, what we do, justice and ecology, education, spirituality, parishes, retreat centers, descendants, truth and reconciliation foundations. What's slavery, history, memory, and reconciliation? Okay. So this is their .org, and you see their picture here. You got the Pope, and then you got these fine young men and women, and then you got looks like some other people in the background. You guys can all discern, that later on. We're just going through this. Now we're gonna go to basic Wikipedia and see what we can, now I already hit these coordinates. That's this here. So you got this street view of 71 Borgo Santo Spiritu. So this is kind of cool how we got technology nowadays. Now I don't know if this is the building or what we're looking at, because I'm just. So this is Borgo Santo. Maybe this is the. When I clicked it, it showed here. So I don't know if this is the main building over here. So we're here, man. See, we don't gotta travel. I don't have to go there. I guess that's the basilica over there. It's kind of cool. Internet and tools. Then we got another angle over here. We got Vatican City. And we got another perspective, another point of view. Castel Sant'Angelo. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Technology. Some people hate on it, some people knock it. I don't know what their problem is when we're here learning. A tool is only good as its master. This article is about the Society of Jesus, also known as the Jesuit Order for philosophy concerning the teachings of Jesus. See Jesuism. For the band, see Jesuit. I guess there's a music band. No, okay. The Society of Jesus. No, this is not advertisement. We're doing this for educational purposes. Actually, this is the Society of Luminaries over here. Totally different. So you got the Latin that says Societas Jesu. But I already told you, we already looked it up over here. This is luminary in Latin, luminare. So this is the Society of Luminare, the Societas de Luminari. What's interesting here is this Ignis. This is really interesting. On a fluke, we came across it. It means fire, light, flame, heat, conflagration, and luminary. Now, what's interesting about Ignis is that it ties down to what we're going to be leading here. Well, let's continue. This is the logo. We're going to break this down to the Christogram. Very interesting stuff here. Abbreviations, SJ, nickname, Jesuits, the formation, 27 September of 1540. It says here 483 years ago. And this is why this Ignis it stood out for me, because look at the founders. Saint Ignatius of Loyola. And his name has this Ignis, which means probably fire bringer, fire bearer, fire starter. And he's the one who founded this society, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. it's crazy how in life, you know, this all this stuff is all around us. All this stuff is all around us. I'm gonna open this link and just have it. You know, we're gonna go through this guy later on. We want to know who he is and what he about, where he came from, who his parents was. You know, look at his signature. Saint Ignatius, Ignatius, Spanish. Okay, Spain, huh? Society of Jesuits, Superior General. So hopefully, you know, we get the time and the willingness, and we will go through, and also with all these other characters. Also, you know, I'm sure that they're, you know, they're the founders. A lot of people, you know, want to start things, but look, you know, it took all these people to found this this group right here. So founded at Paris, France, but formalized in Rome. Type is the Order of Clerics Regular of Pontifical Right for Men. Headquarters, Generalate George S. Spiralto. I guess that's where we were at. 4 Prati, Rome, Italy. Coordinates, that's where we were at. Region served, worldwide. Just like us, we worldwide, we global. Members, since of 2024, but it said over there there's 16,000 plus. That's why, you know, remember, this is just Wikipedia. We're just going through this. The motto, Latin, ad majorem Dei gloriam. English, for the greater glory of God. See, a lot of this sounds like, you know, things that I'm part of. You know what I mean? I'm for the greater glory of God. I'm for you know, what else it said over here? You know, what we were reading, you know, humanity and all that. Yeah. We're trying to uplift humanity, but we're gonna keep on reading. Superior General Arturo Sosa. See, this is when we can start getting into the Black Pope. This here is the Black Pope. People look up to the White Pope. I don't even know who the White Pope right now is. But this is the Black Pope. And then we get the White Pope, the Gray Pope, or is this the Gray Pope? We're gonna look into that later. Remember, we just right here just freestyling, just seeing what flows. Patron Saint, Saint Joseph. Patron Saint, the Blessed Virgin Mary, under the title Madonna, Della, Strada. Ministry, missionary, educational, literary works. Main organ, La Civita Católica. Parent organization, the Catholic Church, and this is their website. I believe that's the same one where we just came from. Might be another one. Nope, looks different. Looks different. So you got other groups that we got to look into. Latest news. The dialogue between faith and science in the spirit. So you guys should you know, take note and research these things for yourself. That's the whole purpose of us here right now. Just sparking. Part of a series of the Society of Jesus, the Christogram. We I got this open here too. Let's move it over here. This here's the Christogram. Stuff that we got to delve into later on. People don't know about these things right now. It's a Latin monogram, Christ, or Christi, is a monogram or combination of letters that forms the abbreviation for the name of Jesus Christ, traditionally used as the religious symbol within the Christian church. Yeah, we're going to get into all this. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't follow or get turned down for Christianity, because they know that these groups are involved. Regimini militantes, military regimen. hierarchy, spirituality, works, notable Jesuits. Here goes the Ignatius of Loyola. We're going to get into all these people, time willing. So let's continue reading. The Society of Jesus, Latin, Societas Jesu, abbreviation SJ, also known as the Jesuit Order or the Jesuits. Jesuits, Jesu, Latin, Jesuitois, is a religious order or a clerical regular of pontifical right for the men in the Catholic Church headquartered in Rome. It was founded in 1540 by Ignatius of Loyola and 6 companions. All right, 7. So it was him plus 6. And also you got to take in count what was going on around these times. To those that are historians and got more information, we need to look at things multidisciplinary and tie things and put them in order. So also remember that there was things going on before this, so they didn't just come out of nowhere, 1540. So we're going to go into that later on too, by Ignatius Loyola and 6 other companions, with the approval of Pope Paul III, Alessandro Farnese. That's interesting right there. That's interesting right there. We're going to bring him out. This is one of the elite families that govern the world today. I just came across it just recently, so I'm still learning like many of y'all. And like I told you, if anyone else got insight or information, come through. Come through. The society is engaged in evangelization and apostolic ministry in 112 nations. Jesuits work in education. That's the key thing right there. In education, research, and cultural pursuits. That's key right there. Jesuits work in education, research, and cultural pursuits. Jesuits also conduct retreats, minister in hospitals and parishes, sponsor direct social and humanitarian ministries, and promote ecumenism, interdenominational or ecumenicalism, ecumenical dialogue. The Society of Jesus is consecrated under the patronage of Madonna, Della Strada, which is she got many names in many places. It's crazy how, they got a woman at the top, but they don't really rock with women, it says here. We're going to bring her out because I might, delve into her later on. And it is led by the superior general. That's the key right there, right? It is led by the superior general. And it showed you over there who was the superior general. It was Sosa. The headquarters of the society, its general curia, is in Rome. The historic curia of Ignatius is now part of the Colegio de Jesuit, attached to the Church of the Jesuit, the Jesuit Mother Church. Members of the Society of Jesus make profession of perpetual poverty, chastity, and obedience, and promise a special obedience to the sovereign pontiff in regard to the missions. Another key, these missions that they keep talking about. I'm sure we'll read about that later on. To effect that a Jesuit is expected to be directed by the Pope. Okay. It says here the Pope, but how many popes are there? Anybody know? Anybody know? Perinde ac cadaver, as if he was a lifeless body. Damn, zombies. Yeah, that didn't make sense. This makes sense. See, they clowned Muslims, they clown Islam. You know what I mean? Because but that's basically telling you the same thing. And if anybody has a different point of view, tap in or drop your information in the comments, on the live comments, or when the lit video goes up. Drop your information, drop your paragraph, drop your links, drop your sources. Drop whatever you want to drop. This is for dialogue. And if you're one of the 16,000 of these, I'm sure it's gonna reach one of y'all. That's your job, right? That's your job, right? To see what the culture is talking about. Well, we talking now on a loudspeaker, broadcasting live and clear, live, loud, clear. Let's continue. Yeah, I'm not talking to lifeless bodies. I'm talking to the bodies full of life, full of spirit, full of change. I'm not talking to the lifeless bodies. And to accept order to go anywhere in the world. That's why we are the way we are, even if required to live in extreme conditions. This was so because Ignatius, here we go. This is what we want to get to. Its leading founder was a nobleman who had a military background. Key. Yeah. Military minded. Accordingly, see that? Accordingly, the opening lines of the founding document declared that the society was founded for whoever desires to serve as a soldier of God, to strive especially for the defense and propagation of the faith. Propagation of the faith, and for the progress of souls in Christian life and doctrine. Jesuits are thus sometimes referred to colloquially as God's soldiers, God's Marines, or the company. The society participated in the Counter-Reformation and later in the implementation of the Second Vatican Council. See, key things in history that happened. Let's take out the Counter-Reformation, Catholic revival, Catholic imagery. We got some doctrines, some sources. Protestant Reformation. Yeah, we're gonna delve into all this and just part of history to understand what was going on in the past. Who did what and how who messed what up, you know what I mean? In the past. Jesuit missionaries established missions around the world from the 16th to the 18th century, what I was just talking about, and had both successes for them, right? And failures in Christianizing the native people. Well, there we go. People want to, who's the enemy? Who is this? Who's the act? Well, who? First of all, let's identify who is these native people. Are you a native person, or are you part of the Christianization? The Jesuits have always been controversial within the Catholic Church and have frequently clashed with secular governments and institutions. Let me repeat that again. The Jesuits have always been controversial within the Catholic Church and have frequently clashed with secular governments and institutions. Beginning in 1759, the Catholic Church expelled Jesuits from most countries in Europe and from European colonies. Pope Clement XIV officially suppressed the order in 1773. In 1814, the church lifted the suppression. Yeah, we got to find out who was in 1814, and you see, this goes really deep. This might go over some people's heads, and I don't blame you. I'm not judging. I know it's football season. I know it's basketball season. I know it's baseball season. I know it's booty season. I know it's dress season. I know it's Jordan season. I know there's a lot of seasons out there. But we try this. I'm switching all them seasons. This is the season of growing. This is the season of learning. This is the season of really putting your feet down on solid ground. History, the foundation. Ignatius of Loyola, a Basque nobleman from the Pyrenees area of northern Spain, founded the society after discerning his spiritual vocation while recovering from a wound sustained in the Battle of Pamplona. He composed the spiritual exercises to help others follow the teachings of Jesus Christ. So he composed spiritual exercises to help others follow the teachings of Jesus the Christ. On 15th of August of the year 1534 Gregorian calendar, Ignatius of the Loyola, born Inigo Lopez de Loyola, a Spaniard from the Basque city of Loyola, and 6 others, mostly Castilian origin, all students of the University of Paris, met in Montmartre, outside Paris, in a crypt beneath the church of Saint Denis. In a crypt beneath the church of Saint Denis, now Saint Pierre of Montmartre, of Montmartre, of Montmartre, of Montmartre, to pronounce promises of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Kind of sounds like some witchcraft to me. In a crypt? In a crypt. Just for what is a crypt? And let's look at the images. Well, what do we see here? What is a crypt? Let's go back to what is a crypt? A lawn crypt is an underground or partially underground mausoleum. What is the difference between a grave and a crypt? Crypt is a stone chamber beneath the floor of a church or mausoleum. It typically contains coffins. Man, this sounds like, what's that called? Yeah, it's crazy. So these 6 Spaniards that were studying in Paris met outside of Paris and went under a church to a crypt where this dead body was at to make a promise of poverty, chastity, and obedience. Are we in agreement? Are we okay? Does that bother anybody? Should I say some trigger warnings? Should I, let's continue. Ignatius' 6 companions were Francisco Xavier. We're just going to bring them out now. We're just going to put them in these gang files. From Navarre, modern Spain. Okay. Alfonso Salmeron. Bring him out too. Diego Lainez. I'm sure that means lioness. Nicolás Bobadilla. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the word bobo comes from. From Castile, modern Spain. Peter Faber. That sounds like a English name, but his picture he kind of looked kind of Moorish. From Savoy, and Simão Rodriguez from Portugal or Portugal. I'm pretty sure the Moors are going to come in here sooner or later. The meeting has been commemorated in the martyrium of Saint Denis Montmartre. They called themselves the Campaña de Jesús and also Amigos en el Señor, or Friends of the Lord, because they felt they were placed together by Christ. The name company had echoes of the military, reflecting perhaps Ignatius' background as captain in the Spanish army, as well as discipleship, the companions of Jesus. The Spanish company would be translated into Latin as societas, like in socios, a partner or comrade. From this came Society of Jesus, SJ, but which they would be known more widely. Well, here we are, the Society of Luminaries, where we bang on the beast. Let us continue. Religious orders established in the medieval era were named after particular men. Francis of Assisi, the Franciscans, Domingo de Guzman, later canonized as Saint Dominic, the Dominicans, and Agustin Hippo, Augustinians. Ignatius of Loyola and his followers appropriated the name of Jesus for their new order, provoking resentment by other orders who considered it presumptuous. The resentment was recorded by Jesuit Jose de Acosta of a conversation with the Archbishop of Santo Domingo. In the words of one historian, the use of the name Jesus gave great offense, both on the continent and in England. It must have been like vulgar to them, distasteful. Like, who are these guys using the name of Jesus? Like these bold. I can understand that thinking back in the day. It sounds like modern gang warfare or something. It was denounced as blasphemous. Petitions were sent to kings and to civil and ecclesiastical tribunals to have it changed. And even Pope Sixtus V had signed a brief to do away with it. But nothing came of all the opposition. There were already congregations named after the Trinity and as God's daughters. In 1537, the seven traveled to Italy to seek papal approval for their order. Pope Paul III gave them a commendation and permitted them to be ordained priests. These initial steps led to the official founding in 1540. See, that's what I was telling you guys earlier, that the founding was a founding date, but there was already movements of this before that. And that's why we're going to, read individually the life and put everything together, and, because that's what discerning minds do. We don't just, listen to We put things together. We're problem solvers. All we need is time and the right tools. And of course, God's grace. Let us continue. They were ordained in Venice by the Bishop of Arbe. They devoted themselves to preaching and charitable work in Italy. The Italian War of 1536 through 1538, renewed between Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor, Venice, the Pope, Venice, the Pope, and the Ottoman Empire, had rendered any journey to Jerusalem impossible. Okay, so this is the Knights Templars get involved over here. Again, in 1540, they presented the project to Pope Paul III. After months of dispute, a congregation of cardinals reported favorably upon the constitution presented, and Paul III confirmed the order through the bull Regimina Militantis Ecclesiae, the government of the church militant. It's a military order. On 27 September 1540. This is the founding document of the Society of Jesus as an official Catholic religious order. Ignatius was chosen as the first superior general. Paul III's bull had limited the number of its members to 60. This limitation was removed through the bull Exposit Dibitum of Julius III in 1550. And Leviathan comes about this time. No, that's still 100 years before this. In 1543, Peter Canisius entered the company. Ignatius sent him to Messina, where he founded the first Jesuit college in Sicily. Ignatius laid out his original vision of the new order in the formula of the institution of the Society of Jesus, which is the fundamental charter of the order, of which all subsequent official documents were elaborations and to which they had to conform. He ensured that his formula was contained in two papal bulls signed by Pope Paul III in 1540 and by Pope Julius III in 1550. The formula expressed the nature, spirituality, community life, and apostolate of the new religious order. Its famous opening statement echoed Ignatius' military background. Whoever desires to serve as a soldier of God beneath the banner of the cross in our society, which we desire to be designed by the name of Jesus, and to serve the Lord alone and the church, his spouse, under the Roman pontiff, the vicar of Christ, on earth, should, after a solemn vow of perpetual, let me see if I can. What happened? Solemn vow of perpetual chastity, poverty, and obedience. Keep what follows in mind. He is a member of a society founded chiefly for this purpose, to strive especially for the defense and propagation of the faith and for the progress of souls in Christian life doctrine by means of public preaching, lectures, or any other ministration whatsoever of the word of God, and further by means of retreats, the education of children, and unlettered persons in Christianity, and the spiritual consolation of Christ's faithful through hearing confessions and administering the other sacraments. Moreover, he should show himself ready to reconcile the estranged compassion, assist and serve those who are in prisons or hospitals, and indeed to perform any other works of charity according to what will seem expedient for the glory of God and the common good. Let me look at that picture that was earlier. A fresco depicting Ignatius receiving the papal bull from Pope Ignatius. Looks like they're throwing gang signs or something. Created in 1743 by Johann Christopher Hancke in the Church of Our Lady of the Snow in Olomouc in Czechoslovakia. Man, we gotta change our ways. We need a heavy research and heavy banging on the beast. In fulfilling the mission of the formula of the Institute of the Society, the first Jesuits concentrated on a few key activities. First, they founded schools. You see, first, they founded schools throughout Europe. Jesuit teachers were trained in both classical studies and theology, and their schools reflected this. These schools taught with a balance of Aristotelian methods with mathematics. Okay, so that was the first thing. They founded schools. Second, they sent out missionaries across the globe to evangelize those people who had not yet heard of the gospel, founding missions in widely diverse regions such as modern-day Paraguay, Japan, Ontario, and Ethiopia. One of the original 7 arrived in India already in 1541. Finally, though not initially formed for the purpose, they aimed to stop Protestantism. From spreading and preserving communion with Rome and the Pope. From the Protestantism. The zeal of the Jesuits overcame the movement toward Protestantism in the Polish, Lithuanian Commonwealth, and southern Germany. Ignatius wrote the Jesuit Constitutions, adopted in 1553, which created a centralized organization and stressed acceptance of any mission to which the Pope might call them. And then you got links to that we can, all this is researchable. All this can be breaking down later on. His main principle became the unofficial Jesuit motto, ad majorem de gloriam, for the greater glory of God. See, I'm all for that. It sounds beautiful. But we shall see what's really going on. This phrase is designed to reflect the idea that any work that is not evil can be meritorious for the spiritual life if it is performed with this intention, even things normally considered of little importance. See what I'm saying? Sounds like lawyer talk. Sounds like they're trying to run manip. The Society of Jesus is classified among institutes as an order of clerks, that is, a body of priests organized for apostolic work and following a religious order. And following a religious rule. The term Jesuit of the 15th century origin, meaning one who is used too frequently, or appropriated the name of Jesus. See, they just jacked the name. That's why they had everybody hating on them. It's like, who is these cats using the name of Jesus? That's like a, I don't even want to go there. Was first applied to the society in reproach, 1544, 1552. The term was never used by Ignatius of Loyola, but over time, members and friends of the society adopted the name with a positive meaning. So they was like, man, we'll just ride with it. While the order is limited to men, Joanna of Austria, Princess of Portugal, of course, she's a princess, favored the order, and she is reputed to have been admitted surreptitiously under a male pseudonym. Yeah, this is this is of great interest. What we're doing, and I'm glad that people are tuning in or will be tuning in, because remember, this channel just recently opened up, and like I was telling a brother, we I use the society as I made up my mind. I feel like I'm a vessel. I want to be used as such. I don't want to do what I want to do. I want the Most High to work through me. So that's why we're doing this, because we all got much to learn, and we all got a lot of work to do. But we need to focus our energy, our time, and our resources to the right things. I believe that's what we're doing right here, right now. Many don't see the importance of reading this. Like I said, this information is everywhere. There's a school in a high school in San Francisco named SI, St. Ignatius. That's their school. I used to pass by there almost every day. Never thought of it, because I was a child, thinking like a child, acting like a child, behaving like a child, eating like a child. But now I put all that things behind me. Now I want to know who these people are and why they were influences around me. So the early works. How much time we got in? Okay, we almost an hour. It's a blessing. I'd rather be here in this hour than on some other things. The Jesuits were founded just before the Council of Trent. Okay, this is important. And ensuing counter-reformation that would introduce reforms within the Catholic Church, and so counter the Protestant Reformation throughout Catholic Europe. So, what's his name from Germany? Martin Luther. He's going to be in here, and also the Queen of England, Catherine, I believe. A lot of this ties in, and all this ties in to what happened in the Americas, and it's still happening. That's why it's important to, in order to correct a problem, You first have to identify a problem. You cannot correct something that you don't even know what's going on. It's like that with language. You know, we're learning new language, but we think we're speaking what we're speaking, but other people are hearing other things. So we have to correct these things. We have to think, talk, speak correctly. So here we're just gaining information, and information is knowledge, and knowledge is power. Right now we're just gaining the power. Ignatius and the early Jesuits did recognize, though, that the hierarchical church was in dire need of reform. Yeah, they were falling off. Some of their greatest struggles were against corruption, big time. Venality is a vice associated with being bribable, which is corruption, and willing to sell one's services or power, especially when people are intended to act in the deep. So a lot of people is suffering from venality because y'all selling y'all souls for Tootsie Rolls. And then y'all want to talk to me about something. And spiritual lassitude within the Catholic Church. Ignatius insisted on a high level of academic preparation. What we're doing right here, right now. This, we have to train ourselves to chew, understand. A lot of people don't want this. They want candy. This ain't candy, bro. This is more like garlic. Ignatius insisted on a high level of academic preparation for the clergy, in contrast to the relatively poor education of much of the clergy of his time. So all the other clergy were some dum-dums with high positions. Yeah, I can't stand that neither. I might agree with a lot of things of this Ignatius, the fire bringer. The Jesuit vow against ambitioning prelacies can be seen as an effort to counteract another problem evidenced in the preceding century. You know, I believe that another thing that I have in common with this guy that I agree with is that, you know, when I speak of poverty, if you've never had toys, then first of all, you're always wanting a toy. Then when you get a toy, you don't want to share the toy because you never had a toy. But other kids that had a bunch of toys, they're like, here, play with the toy. It's nothing. You see? So this venality is very important. I'm going to read that again. It's a vice associated with being bribable or willing to sell one's services or power. So somebody comes and, hey man, I'll shoot you a 20. You know what I mean? Let me do this, let me do that. And 20 is just an example. Yeah, some people sell they soul for a Tootsie Roll. That's why I can't stand them folks. And them it's a dime a dozen. It's a majority. That's why I'd rather be with the chosen few. Ignatius and the Jesuits who followed him believed that the reform of the church had to begin with the conversation of the individual's heart. Okay. The conversion of an individual's heart. And many of us don't know what's in the hearts of men. A lot of people talk a good game, but we don't know what's in the heart, individual's heart. One of the main tools the Jesuits have used to bring about this conversion is the Ignatian retreat. I get it. Called the spiritual exercises. So I wasn't gonna look into that, but now we are gonna bring it out. We are gonna bring it out. So I got all these like I said later on, some people talk down about Wikipedia. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is where people get their toe wet. Not even their feet wet, they toe wet. But once you get like, maybe somebody might get excited over this information. Maybe somebody might want to be like, hey, you know what? Let me read about that. Or I heard somebody say this. Well, this is where you heard it at, the Society of Luminaries, where we bang, bang, bang on the beast every day, all day, even in dreams. Yeah, we changing the matrix completely. We coming. It's just like with this order. It was the time in their time and space in their era that they had to do this. They felt forced to come together as a group. I imagine they had differences too. I bet you when we read more about these individuals, these 7 individuals, or Saint, I keep saying Saint Ignatius. You see how I'm indoctrinated. I'm programmed just like everyone else. But did you see what I just happened? I corrected myself. Because my whole life since I was a child, I always heard of Saint Ignatius. I gotta, I'm breaking spells just like you. I hope you and me are breaking spells together. And we're building together. But we can't build if we don't break. Because this is what's already established. And these people are dealing with a problem in their time, and we're dealing with problems in our time. And then that's what this life is about, dealing with problems. So we need to become problem solvers and enjoy solving problems. I recommend a lot of people go into the every day go to the newspaper and solve a problem. A word problem, a math problem, a number problem, a Sudoku, a Rubik's Cube, some kind of problem. So we're going to read these spiritual exercises later on just to, see what they talk about. And if we learn something, we might adopt something. During a 4-week period of silence, a vow of silence, individuals undergo a series of directed meditations on the purpose of life and contemplation on the life of Christ. They meet regularly with the spiritual director who guides their choice of exercises and helps them to develop a more discerning love for Christ. See, this sounds lovely. This sounds lovely. Because sometimes, I tell Christians that I'm a Christian because I walk in the path of Christ. To me, Christ or some people, Jesus, whatever, it's confusing to some people because it's based on their education, what they know of. So these words, it confuses them. Like the word God. You use the word God to some people and they think of what they think. But another person might use that same word and think in some other vision. And that's where confusion is at. A lot of people are using the same word but meaning 2 different things. Like I told you, you're not going to find nice over here. That word nice is a modern day term, but ain't no nice guy over here. I'm not silly. I'm not stupid. And I'm not a fool. The retreat follows a purgative, illuminative, unitive pattern in the tradition of the spirituality of John Cassian. Christian monk and theology. Okay, we're good. Did I already get him out? We're gonna get him out again if I did. And the Desert Fathers. Who are these? This is the first time I heard of these Desert Fathers. Were early Christian hermits and ascetics who lived primarily in the Cetus Desert and the Roman province. So I imagine these guys are the ones who did the Gnostics, but what's the book of the Jubilees and everyone be talking about the Desert Scrolls. Ignatius' innovation was to make this style of contemplative mysticism. See, they're gonna hate on this word mysticism. Available to all people in active life. That's what I'm saying. You got to break these spells. You got to break these spells that you under. A lot of people don't even know the spells that they under. If you're understanding me right now, because I am speaking the English language right now, and you're listening to the English language right now, and you're understanding me, you are under spells. Believe that. Now, if you follow us on this page and you go listen to these the series I got on the war series, or the art of war, if you want to call it, you know, or the psyop series that I'm reading, just like this, reading online, you will be breaking spells, and I salute you. Me and you later on, we might be able to do something. If not, hey, sayonara. Live your life. Do you. Do as you will. Live your life. Live your vida loca. Whatever you want to do you. Just don't mind me. And when you see me, you know what I'm saying, you better get down and lay down, man. Because I'm banging on it's real life over here. Further, he used it as a means of rebuilding the spiritual life of the church. The exercises became both the basis for the training of Jesuits and one of the essential ministries of the order, giving the exercises to others in what became known as retreats. You see, so they just using the word retreats like a field trip. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're just going on a field trip. See, this is where words really matter. See, to us, a retreat, oh, that's a retreat. To them, has a different meaning. To them, you go on a retreat, you're going to come out thinking different. Anyone else sees the word retreat, oh, it sounds fun. Does 4 weeks of devout silence sound fun to you? Not, you know what I mean? I've done it, and I believe it's key too. I believe that silence is golden. I believe many people talk too damn much. And we all need to come to grips with silence and with ourselves. See this here, I agree with him. He used it to mean rebuilding the spiritual life, but not of the church. I believe I would change this to of the temple. Because we are the temple. I am the temple. You are the temple. That's why we got the temples right in our forehead. Between that, there's a lot of things that we haven't been told, and there's a lot of things that we got to put together. Hopefully, if it's God's will, we will enjoy this process. The Jesuits' contributions to the late Renaissance were significant in their roles both as a missionary order and as the first religious order to operate colleges and universities as a principal and distinct ministry. That's the key right there, man. A lot of people ain't even thinking about that. The key is to put the schools, not these other things that you guys got going on. People, you know what I'm saying? If you really want to do in this highest levels of order, to think about generations in the future, you know, that's what we got going on. That's what we're trying to build. But like I said, we're finding this here right now. Let's continue. By the time of Ignatius' death in 1556, so so I guess these guys were old guys, but we're gonna look into that later on. You know, we're gonna get into each one. Probably gonna make a series out of this too. The Jesuits were already operating a network of 74 colleges and on 3 continents, a precursor to liberal education. That's where we get into the quadrivium and the trivium. You see the in a certain way, this is beautiful to me. But why did these men understand this back then? Because they didn't have TikTok. They didn't have YouTube where you could just watch cats play for hours, or documentaries about gangs and about the most silliest things of life. You know, they didn't have Facebook where you could watch hours of hours. You know, their social media was actually like getting together with other brothers and sisters like us and just having these conversations that we're having right now. You know, it was a great time when you can meet somebody and have these conversations. So these 7 brothers, Saint Ignatius and them, that was their social media. You know, when they got together and they talked these things out, that's why they built, because they didn't have all these distractions. They didn't have Looney Tunes. They didn't have, you know, all these series on TVs, and they didn't have so much distractions. The Jesuit plan for studies incorporated the classical teachings of Renaissance humanism. See, now we're into transhumanism in these days and times, into the scholastic structure of Catholic thought. This method of teaching was important in the context of the scientific revolution. See, we need to become scientists today. We think scientists is nerds and everything. Bro, we need to be those scientists. We need to be chemists. We need to know about electricity. We need to know about so much. But we know how much an ounce weigh. We know how many grams is in an ounce. We know, come on, bro. As these universities were open to teaching new scientific and mathematical methodology. So you need to become mathematicians. Further, many important thinkers of the scientific revolution were educated by Jesuit universities. So further later on, when we start delving into more minds, don't be surprised if they studied here and these guys produced the other guys that came later on and became factors. In addition to the teachings of faith, the Jesuit Ratio Stadiorum, often abbreviated 1599, would standardize the study of Latin, Greek, classical literature, poetry, and philosophy, as well as non-European languages, sciences, and the arts. See, these guys were factors. They were on a whole nother level. Well, we can too. But we have to start small. First within us, within our families, and just get structure and order with ourselves. What's gonna separate us from them? It's knowledge of self and discipline. And also, while some is partying with the beast, we bang on the beast and all they affiliates. Furthermore, Jesuit schools encouraged the study of vernacular literature and rhetoric, and thereby became important important centers of the training of lawyers and public officials. See, so this is the introduction. Well, not definitely not introduction, but they structured it as the trivium. This is the trivium. This is exactly what the trivium is. The quadrivium is the numbers. The trivium is the letters. Some people think that the trivium is before the quadrivium, but it's not. Numbers rule this realm, not letters. Letters are numbers, which is far behind. The Jesuit schools played an important part of winning back to Catholicism a number of European countries which had for a time been predominantly Protestant. So we need to understand, these Protestants, who they were, what was going on, notably Poland and Lithuania. Today, Jesuit colleges and universities are located in over 100 nations around the world. This is a fact. Many people don't even know. Maybe, and they don't even have no clue. Under the notion that God can be encountered through created things, and especially art, they encouraged the use of ceremony and decoration in Catholic rituals and devotion. Perhaps as a result of this appreciation of art, coupled with their spiritual practices of finding God in all things, many early Jesuits distinguished themselves in the visual and performing arts, as well in the music. The theater was a form of expression, especially prominent in the Jesuit schools. I could be mistaken. I could be mistaken. But Spirit is telling me, from this basic Wikipedia knowledge that I'm learning here, that these are the Satanists. First, we got this guy Ignatius, his name is Firebringer. I have no problem with fire, or if the fire bringings. I'm part fire myself. Fixed. I burn. So I have no problem with fire. It has time and a place, but it's the most difficult to control. It easily can burn civilizations down. So fire, it's like the Fire Nation. These guys are. So then you got this guy Ignatius. Then they're meeting up in cemeteries, under churches, in crypts. What? Hey, bro. If I ever reunite with a group of brothers and sisters, and I tell them, or they tell me, hey, we're gonna meet up in a crypt with dead people, I'm gonna be like, hey, bro, I don't want no part of that, bro. There's too many other places that we can meet. Like, why don't we go up to a top of a pyramid, or top of a mountain or some? There's too many other places that I would rather meet with brethren to build than in a crypt. These 7 individuals met up in a crypt. Maybe it was cool back then. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Of maybe at that time, right? Maybe in that time that it was cool to meet up in the crypts, and it was the thing of the times. Maybe it was like a McDonald's back then. I don't know. This is many eons ago. You know what I'm saying? Or ages ago. So, but you got this cat named Ignatius, and the occult, the dark magics was heavy around this time. Everyone was, into that. They met up in a crypt with this Dennis, this Saint Dennis body in a crypt in a grave. Only God knows what they did there. Probably drank each other's bloods. On some, or worse, they probably went on some gay homo things. Then, it's saying here that perhaps as a result of this appreciation of art, coupled with the spiritual practice of finding God in all things, many early Jesuits distinguished themselves in the visual and performing arts as well as music. The theater was a form of expression, especially prominently in Jesuit schools. Who do we think? Let's have a vote. Let's have a poll. How many people believe that the Jesuits were behind or are behind the Olympics and all those visual things that they had going on? Now I'm understanding through this last paragraph here that why what's the one key thing that we can see about the Satanists? It's the inversion that they love doing. They love taking something and turning it into something that it's not. And then through their education system, teaching what is not as what it is. That's why you tell me what it is, I'll tell you what it ain't. Because what it ain't is what it is, and what it is what it ain't. Sounds like a tongue twister. It sounds like, you know what I mean, like I'm trying to confuse other people, but I'm not. Actually, I'm trying to clear things up. And I hope I'm helping somebody out there. I hope. But you know what I know what I'm sure I'm doing? I'm helping out myself. Because I didn't have this plan to read all this, to speak on it, or have these thoughts. I didn't have this written down. If I had it written down, I probably would have presented it much differently. But maybe that will come at a later date. All I know is that we need to prepare ourselves every day for what's to come. We're setting the tone still. People don't change overnight. People change through time. And if you change overnight, it's because something drastic happened. So it's real interesting. I didn't know about this. I didn't even know about this, but now I'm thankful. Jesuit priests often acted as confessors to kings during the early modern period. Who the hell was these kings that were confessing to these fools? They were an important force in the Counter-Reformation and in the Catholic missions, in part because their relatively loose structure, without the requirements of living in celebration of liturgy of hours, in common, allowed them to be flexible and meet diverse needs arising at the time. Sounds like they chameleons to me. But like I said, I welcome anybody that want to share light. If I'm wrong with these comments, please come and expound, share. You got the whole comment section. Not as a debate. Just share the light. Or like that one, just give me the light. Jesuit missionary painting from 1779. Look, they got high heels on. I'm not judging them though. I'm sure they served a purpose back then. And what's this horn he got going on? That looked like one of those shells that Brother Mesh was talking about the other day. Or is that a piece of bread? Or see, that's what I'm saying. We need to delve into more of these things to really break things down. I want to see the world clearly. I believe it's a blessing that we're having these dialogues. And I believe it's a blessing to those that's gonna delve into these topics too. I got a lot. I got more. I got like real literature. Like, look at all these things we got. Like I got this whole like I don't. I don't know if it's a book or not, but we're going to get into this later. The truth about the Jesuits. Now, we got some sources here, but we're not going to go there yet. We're just trying to, it's a joy. It's a pleasure. They say it's a treat. I used to say it was a treat when players meet, or it's a treat when, but now it's just, this is a treat. This is a blessing. Let us continue. Expansion of the order. After much training and experience in theology, Jesuits went across the globe in search of converts to Christianity. See, that's why a lot of people don't rock with Christianity or the New Testament, because these people were the ones teaching it. Despite their dedication, they had little success in Asia, except in the Philippines. Yeah, the poor Filipinos. Shout out to my Filipino brethren out there, to my Pinoys. For instance, early missions in Japan resulted in the government granting the Jesuits the feudal fiefdom of Nagasaki in 1580. Wow. This was removed in 1587, 7 years later, due to fears over their growing influence. Jesuits did, however, have much success in Latin America, all your people's favorite place, all the people call your gente, where the Jesuits had success. So are the Jesuits your gente? Brother Mesh, if you still on, I just seen your message. Come through if you got time. I apologize. I was over here on the flow. I'm gonna be on the lookout. So it says they had much success. Where it say? So they had Jesuits did, however, have much success. Not a little bit, not some, not a tad, not poquito, much success in Latin America. Their ascendancy in societies in the Americas accelerated during the 17th century, wherein Jesuits created new missions in Peru, Colombia, and Bolivia. As early as 1603, there were 345 Jesuit priests in Mexico alone. I had found a video. If I find it again, I'll share it in future lives, where they had broken down. I was actually studying about the Jews, and then it said that the Jesuits were kicked out of Mexico. The Jesuits was kicked out of Mexico many times. No. Excuse me, not many times. But they were kicked out because same thing. They got exposed. They was running amok. They was just controlling, and then but then they came back stronger than ever. And I imagine they're there. You know what I mean? They're there, just like it said earlier. They're over 100 and some countries. You know what I mean? Like, this is a powerful movement that we're dealing with. And look at the times. Most of us, we had no idea. We had no clue. And there's a lot we can learn from them. But I think discernment is key. Discernment is key. You know, a lot of people. I don't think they understand these things. I know I didn't. You know, I just came across the knowledge not too recently, but now, you know, thankfully, because of the time and the place is the time. You know, and like that video said, today I got time. Today I got time. Let's continue reading. Francis Xavier. Is this where they get the Dr. Xavier? Dr. X? Teacher? X-Men? Don't tell me these are the X-Men. Nah, I'm probably going too much. Francis Xavier, one of the original companions of Loyola, arrived in Goa, Portuguese India. How the hell is Portuguese India? These people out of pocket. First of all, India is not even the name. Like this, that's what they taught us. You see what I'm saying? Guess who taught us to say India? Folks in India don't even want to call it India. But they were forced in 1541 to carry out evangelical services in the Indies. In a 1545 letter to John III of Portugal, he requested an inquisition to be installed in Goa to combat heresies like crypto-Judaism and crypto-Islam. This is a big word nowadays. It's crypto. Ain't everybody trying to invest in crypto? How is crypto doing nowadays? I ask. Is it up? Is it down? Is it side to side? Under Portuguese royal patronage, Jesuits thrived in Goa, and until 1759 successfully expanded their activities to education and healthcare. Poor people. In 1594, they founded the first Roman-style academic institution to the east, St. Paul Jesuit College of Macau, China, founded by Alessandro Valignano, S.J., sometimes Valignani. It had a great influence on the learning of Eastern languages, Chinese and Japanese, and culture by missionary Jesuits, becoming home to the first Western sinologists, as referred to China studies, is a subfield of area studies, such as Matteo Ricci. Jesuit efforts in Goa were interrupted by the expulsion of the Jesuits from the Portuguese territories in 1759 by the powerful Marquis of Pompey, Secretary of State of Portugal. The Portuguese Jesuit Antonio de Andrade founded a mission in Western Tibet in 1624. See, also Catholic Church of Tibet. Two Jesuit missionaries, Johann Gruber and Albert Dorville, reached Lhasa in Tibet in 1661. Man, they had a mission. The Italian Jesuit Ippolito Desideri established a new Jesuit mission in Lhasa and central Tibet and gained an exceptional mastery of Tibetan language and culture. See, that's why I respect these cats too, because they were into this mastery thing and they knew what they were doing. Writing a long and very detailed account of the country and its religion, as well as treatises in Tibetan, and attempted to refute key Buddhist ideas and establish the truth of Catholic Christianity. Okay, truth. Okay, truth, Catholic guys. telling you. Jesuit missions in the Americas became controversial in Europe, especially in Spain and Portugal, where they were seen as interfering with the proper colonial enterprises of the royal governments. That just sounds like an oxymoron. The Jesuits were often the only force standing between the indigenous and slavery. See, a lot of people in Latin America don't think there was slavery in Latin America, and they like to distance themselves, and they rather, but it's not true. There's still slavery going on nowadays, and I'm not talking about philosophical. Together throughout South America, together throughout South America, but especially the present day Brazil and Paraguay, they formed indigenous Christian city states called reductions. These were societies set up according to an idealized theocratic model. The efforts of Jesuits like Antonio Ruiz de Montoya to protect the natives from enslavement by Spanish and Portuguese colonizers would contribute to the call for the society suppression. So it's saying here, let's break this down a little bit, that Spain, the Spaniards, and Portuguese, they wanted to enslave the natives. And these Jesuits told them no. So they became a problem to the colonizers. But they're both colonizers, but they're fighting for the power. Jesuit priests such as Manuel de Nobrega and Jose de Orchiata, Anchiata, I said Orchata, that made me thirsty, founded several towns in Brazil in the 16th century, including Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. So now that makes sense why they got this guy up there. See, I didn't even. That's why I'm thankful that we're doing this right here, because I didn't know that the Jesuits founded Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro, and were very influential in the pacification, religious conversion, and education of indigenous nations. They also built schools, organized people into villages, and created a writing system for the local languages of Brazil. Jose de Anchieta and Manuel de Nobrega were the first Jesuits that Ignacio de Loyola sent to the Americas. That's why they said they had much success, because they had no problem here in the Americas. It seemed like nobody has a problem here in the Americas except us. Bell, made in Portugal by Nanbanji Church, ran by Jesuits in Japan. Yeah, we're going to ring these bells, man. When I say bang on the beast, we gonna bang on the beast. We gonna ring these bells. We gonna ring they bell. Jesuit scholars working in foreign missions were very dedicated in studying the local languages and strove to produce Latinized grammars and dictionaries. That's why, a lot of people, I laugh when a lot of people go to these dictionaries as sources when your dictionaries are these guys' sources. You know, life is crazy. It's interesting. Enjoy the ride. I'm having fun. It's a great time. It's a great place. It's a great time to be alive. This included Japanese, see Nippo Jisha, also known as Vocabulario de Lingua de la PAM, Vocabulary of the Japanese Language, a Japanese Portuguese dictionary written in 1603. Vietnamese, Portuguese missionaries created the Vietnamese alphabet, which was later formalized by Avignon missionary Alexander de Rhodes with the 1651 trilingual dictionary, Tupi, the main language of Brazil, and the pioneering study of Sanskrit in the West by Jean-Francois Pons in 1741, in 1740s. Pioneering study of Sanskrit. Jesuit missionaries were active among indigenous people in New France, in North America, many of them compiling dictionaries and glossaries of the First Nations and Native American languages they had learned. For instance, before his death in 1708, Jacques Gravier, Vicar General of the Illinois Mission in the Mississippi River Valley, compiled a Miami, Illinois French dictionary, considered the most extensive among works of the missionaries. Extensive documentation was left in the form of the Jesuit Relations, published annually from 1632 until 1673. Britain. Where we at with time? Let's continue a little bit more. Whereas Jesuits were active in Britain in the 16th century due to the persecution of Catholics in the Elizabethan times, that's what I mean. Elizabeth. I said Catherine earlier. An English province was only established in 1623. The first pressing issue for early Jesuits in what today is the United Kingdom was to establish places for training priests. After an English college was opened in Rome, 1579, a Jesuit seminary was opened in Valladolid. Then one in Seville, which culminated in a place of study in Louvain. This was the earliest foundation of what would later be called Hythrop College Companion Hall. Founded in 1896, has been a presence with Oxford University since then. And a lot of people use the Oxford Dictionary, and the Oxford Universities is great. Don't get me wrong; these people are great educators. Like, look, you can't knock their work. They put in work. They put in work. They educated the world. I recommend people go look up a documentary called "Schooling the World: The White Man's Last Burden." Some people told me that the video was blocked in a lot of countries. Obviously, it's controversial. It's like what we're talking about here. It's lightweight controversial, but it's right here. This is Wikipedia. But this might not be here tomorrow. This Wikipedia page might not be here tomorrow. This Wikipedia thing might be omitted, doctored, changed, modified in a couple hours. Possible. 16th and 17th century Jesuit institutions intended to train priests were hotbeds for the persecution of Catholics in Britain. So that's because the Protestants were deep there, where men suspected of being Catholic priests were routinely imprisoned, tortured, and executed. And you can see this in the movie Elizabeth, or in a bunch of movies, because there's a bunch of movies named Elizabeth about the same time. And I do recommend people, go watch those movies to get a sense of what we got going on right here. This is the time that we're going on. Also is the same time that Martin Luther in Germany. Jesuits were among those killed, including the namesake of Campion Hall, as well as Brian Cansfield, Ralph Corbington, kind of be looking like an Irish Jesuit, and many others. A number of them were canonized among the 40 martyrs of England and Wales. See, I hope I have time and I'll look up into all this stuff, because to me this is of great interest. 4 Jesuit churches remain today in London alone, with 3 other places of worship remaining extant in England and 2 in Scotland. China. The Jesuits first entered China through the Portuguese settlements on Macau, where they settled on Green Island and founded St. Paul's Church. If I'm not mistaken, isn't this where they got the big casino now? Could be wrong. The Jesuit China missions of the 16th and 17th centuries introduced Western science and astronomy, then undergoing its own revolution to China. The scientific revolution brought by the Jesuits coincided with the time when scientific innovation had declined in China. The Jesuits made efforts to translate Western mathematical and astronomical works into Chinese and aroused the interest of Chinese scholars in these sciences. They made very extensive astronomical observations and carried out the first modern cartographic work in China. They also learned to appreciate the scientific achievements of this ancient culture and made them known in Europe. Through their correspondent, European scientists first learned about the Chinese science and culture. For over a century, Jesuits such as Michel Ruggieri, Matteo Ricci, Diego de Pantoja, Felipe Couple, Michael Boehm, and Francis Noel refined translations and disseminated Chinese knowledge, culture, history, and philosophy to Europe. Their Latin works popularized the name Confucius and had considerable influence on the deists and other Enlightenment thinkers, some of whom were intrigued by the Jesuits' attempts to reconcile Confucian morality with Catholicism. Upon the arrival of the Franciscans and other monastic orders, Jesuit accommodation of Chinese culture and rituals led to the long-running Chinese rites controversy. despite the personal testimony of the Kangxi emperor and many Jesuit converts that Chinese veneration of ancestors and Confucius was a non-religious token of respect. Pope Clement the 11th, papal decree cum Deus Optimus, ruled that such behavior constituted impermissible forms of idolatry and superstitions in 1704. His legate Tornum and Bishop Charles Migro of Fujian tasked the presenting this finding of the Kanchi emperor displayed such extreme ignorance, that the emperor mandated the expulsion of Christian missionaries unable to abide by the terms of Ritchie's Chinese catechisms. Turned on summary of automated excommunication for any violators of Clement's decree upheld by 1750 Bull Ex Ella Die led to the shift collapse of all the missions in China. The last Jesuits were finally expelled in 1721. I believe I'm not sure if it was around that time, but that's what happened in Mexico too. They got expelled, but they came back stronger and better than ever. So we got Ireland next. See Mexico down here. So Ireland, Canada, United States, Ecuador, Mexico, Northern Spanish America, Paraguay, Philippines. They're all over the place. All over the place. Was I not sharing? Well, I was reading, and I hope you guys heard me loud and clear. We're approaching the 2-hour mark. I appreciate your presence. I appreciate you finding this interesting. I am your servant. I hope I did some service. We will continue this. Make sure you hit the bell notification on our channel. This is the Society of Luminaries, where we bang on the beast daily. We will win the race at a turtle's pace. Before we can fight the power, we must first gain the power to fight. There's a lot of work to be done. You see here, for example, what we're reading. There's a lot of work that they did. Took a lot of brothers, and hopefully, we will scratch the surfaces more and more until we get deep enough where we have reached a certain level of power. Until then, I love y'all. Take care. Until next time.
If you are not a conspiracy theorist by now, let me tell you, if you are not a conspiracy theorist by now, it's because
You are not intelligent.
They wasn't ready for this back then. They probably not ready for it now. Those that sleep forever gonna be sleep. Those that woke, woke. Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru. Wait, what? De Tupac Amaru. Tupac. Yo soy la reencarnación de Tupac Amaru. That's lit. De Tupac Amaru. Gang. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. They sold us the illusion of democracy and freedom. Now they worry that my music has the power of healing. Unleashing all the demons fed through TV and through lies. They rule by secrecy, why do you think justice blind? Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun. Each one takes time to succeed. This one is dedicated for the children of the sun.